Hi everyone, this is Fred. Today's tutorial is about perspective with VectorStyler, which is a vector drawing software that I just discovered recently and I really like it, so I'm training and I apply some of the tricks I used on other software, but today we will see how to make some perspective drawing with very simple method. So the idea is to create some lines, some guidelines, instead of using a grid. A grid is very practical, very convenient, but sometimes it's a little bit complex. Sometimes it makes the drawing not easy, confusing. So that's why I really like to have minimum guides I can use. So first thing I create my line layer and then another layer for the guides. I put specific colors on them, usually put the red for the guides layer, and then I will start with the basics of a construction line for perspective. First one is the horizon line, which is the eye level of the viewer. So I put it in red and I name it. I'm a little bit cautious about things, so I like to name the element I'm drawing all the time. So the second part is we're using vanishing point, of course, and we're using another third point, a third node in the middle of the line, and this point will be moved all the time. It will be very useful. Is what I call the corner. Is the corner of a shape, which means that is the way of the angle, and every line from it goes to vanishing point left or right, and this is how it works for the construction. Now I'm going to the snapping options. I will snap two things particularly: snap to object and the snap to original. Both are very convenient and practical when I'm building. I say that, but you will see that sometimes I'm a little bit lame on the use of the snapping options, but you will get how it works. Okay, so I make 2 or 3 copy, depends, of my corner line. Sometimes I can add one just for temporary use and then I erase it. Anyway, this is how it works. So now I will build another line with another color, which is a guideline, called the mid section. So you will see the use of it a little bit later, but the idea is when you want to find the middle of a shape, whatever it's in 2D geometry or perspective, you can cross a line like this and you will find the center. And it works in 2D, it works in 3D as well. So we will see a use for it. So I make some mid guide. We will see later. So now we have all our guides ready. So I can just put the layer a little bit down just in case. I'm going to my line. I will just draw randomly before the first wall. Here it is. And now I have this wall. I have to place it. I will find a place for it. It will be the starting point of my building. We'll make a simple building with little features, windows of course. So now I'm positioning my guidelines, and now you will see how it works. This is how it works. I know that these lines are going to the vanishing point no matter what. So that's how I do. Okay, I have my first wall. Okay, so you see you can use only 2 lines, sometimes 3. What I do is to duplicate my shape. I often duplicate shapes just because once you duplicate, especially when they are close to each other, you just need to move 2 points instead of rebuilding the whole stuff. So I have this wall, and just the copy of this wall, you see I just moved 2 points only. I don't need to move the whole stuff. So I'm building the second wall. Okay, it's a left wall. So now we have this kind of big rectangle building, this big box. Let's make a little door for entrance. So I'm positioning my guidelines as usual. In that case I will copy, it's not necessary, but I can copy, duplicate again my wall. We'll call it door. And I just move my point using shape editor. So this is actually, this principle is how I built everything. So now you will get, it's quite easy to understand how it works. So you use the shape, and the yellow line are there to help me to find the right direction. Okay, my door is a bit thick. Yeah, let's make it a little bit narrow. Okay, so now this building has the door. We can enter it way. Okay, so what we can do next is to add a little volume. Just not a small simple box, but giving a little volume. The idea is just to show again how it works for the construction of things in perspective. So I'm putting my lines, my positioning, actually my vanishing point, vanishing line and vanishing point. And then again I duplicate my wall, and I will use my shape editor. Okay, and I create the depth here. On the side, volume, right side. Okay, we have a right side. And very easy, once again, I will just duplicate to create the other side. Yeah, this one was the right, sorry. Okay, the left side. Et voila. Okay, so now we have a little bit more funky volume, but we can also add some volume on the right face as well. Okay, so let's make it a little bit high. So one interesting thing is just like you want to add point, some node in a shape, you just double click once you're inside and you will add the node automatically, which is very interesting because you don't have to create another node with the system. You don't have to make like a union or whatever with two different rectangle or something like that. You can just use the same shape. So now build some front shape, which is a little bit more fun. Okay, and we will gonna give it a little thickness. So my first idea was to make the whole shape on the back going back. So that's why it was a triangle at the origin, but finally I say no, I don't want it to go too far, so I just want to give some thickness. And so I just add another point, a double click, you see it's quite simple actually. And then okay. So this part I'm struggling, I should zoom in of course, but I'm struggling with snapping. But anyway, even if I'm very clumsy, you all get the global meaning, the global use of a structure. Okay. Shame on me, but okay, finally it works. Okay, so now we have a building which is a little bit more funky. And how about to make a pyramid top? Yeah, this kind of tower, we can make a pyramid. And for doing the pyramid, that's when we will use the mid guide I was talking about before. So what I'm building right now actually is the invisible part. You know, it's under the top. This part is invisible, of course, but we need it for our construction. Then we use our mid guide. We just cross them. Very simple cross, and we know that the middle is what we need. So I will add another one. I will just duplicate as usual, and this one will just here. Yeah, it's supposed to be vertical to give height of my pyramid. Okay, so I'm just searching for some height. Maybe, yeah, not that much. Okay, so starting from that, what I'm doing is a triangle, of course. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I just need to attach it. It's as simple as that. I have one face. And like I said before, that's this kind of thing is interesting. That's why you need to duplicate. You just duplicate and you just move only one point, one node, and okay, you have your second triangle. It's perfectly in place. Okay, you see, once you hide the guide, okay, not so bad. So we have a perspective shape. So of course, after that comes the interesting part, is what you want is windows. So windows is the interesting part because we know that in perspective, the shape, the object, they shrink, they become smaller as long as they go further, as they go deep. So first thing is to mimic this effect by using my window. I have my window A, my window B. Window B on the right is supposed to be further, so it's supposed to be smaller. So what I want to do now is having a bunch of windows in between, which will become slower little by little, smaller, sorry, little by little. Which means I will use the blend. The blend option in that case is interesting. Yes, because it will make things becoming smaller little by little. It's me. I am the one who's okay. So we have very interesting thing. We can move them. It's quite dynamic, so it's interesting. The only thing is, okay, it's quite good because the size is diminished little by little, but the space between the object is still the same, and that doesn't match the perspective rules. So what can we do? Actually, what we can do, we are going to effect, blend, and we will change actually how regular is the space between the elements. Okay, I edit the settings. In my case, I found that the one I like was roughly 45-55 in value. So I do 45-55, and then you can see that on the right, oh, the space between the elements is diminishing. Feel free to use your own settings. For me, it's just what goes well in this case. So we have a nice row, quite interesting. So we will group it, of course, to have all the elements together and to be able to move them. Of course, you can change shapes if you want, but right now I'm very traditional. I just use rectangle shape. So we have a row. So what we do after that, we duplicate. So duplicating, of course, helped me to have different rows. We just keep in mind that in that case, when I will change later, you will see the amount of windows. It will change on all row, of course. But in some case, for some reason, you may want to change only the number of windows only once every 2 rows, for instance. In that case, I suggest that you copy and paste the window row. You copy and paste, you don't duplicate them. And so you will be able to move them independently. Okay, so now I'm positioning the group. So I made a group of all these windows, okay? They're all together. I make a group, so when I will use the distortion, I will distort everything together. So it's easier and very convenient. But the good thing is I never edit right now. I never edit the settings, so you will see that it can be funny because after that you can modify things even after doing some transformation, which is one of the great stuff with VectorStyler. You have a lot of control of things. Okay, so this is to give you the idea of what I want with the distortion, but of course it's not accurate. So to make it accurate, we have to use the guides, but it's roughly the idea. Okay, now we have a guide, second guides, okay, and now we adjust our windows. So we go back to the distortion, 4-point distortion tool, and we can modify a little bit, yep, to make it a little bit cleaner. Et voilà. So now we have a nice set of windows everywhere, so which is quite interesting. So what we keep in mind is the fact that you can still modify the amount. That's why it's good to have this kind of settings. It means that it's inside the blend, so you see on the top left, sorry, the blend panel, and so you can change it, and you will change the amount of yeah, okay, now we're good. You can have less or more windows. You can change it very easily, which can be very useful, because once you create a set, if you want to do a lot of buildings, like 6 or 7 buildings in a row, you use always the same trick at the beginning, and you just change a little bit the size of the first element and the number of blend of so it's very very interesting. So this is one of the features that I really like, this possibility of changing it. Okay, so now what we do, we can do just for fun to finish it the other side, so I have to put right in the corner to be sure to have the same height. Okay, and I would take my windows, duplicate them again. Okay, and then I just take them, I just use the mirror tool. Wow, so fast. Okay, and now I just make the adjustment like we did on the other side. So we go back, first we change the transform tool, and then we go back to the 4-point distortion tool. Here we are. Okay, we have a nice building. Nice, I mean, at least. Okay, just a matter of, yeah. Okay, we're done. Thanks for watching, bye bye.